Hi guys and welcome in this third episode. Today I'm gonna explain to you arrays and matrices done as list. Now we are on our compiler and there we are gonna create an array and a matrix. So arrays and matrices are particular variables because they are able to have many values in them. Instead, how we know a normal variable can carries just one value. There we have our first program about arrays, and here we have the variable array that is called in this case v, but we can change this part how we want. Then we see equal and square brackets, and there in these square brackets will be the values of our array. Then we create a variable that is the number of elements in the array, and then we create a counter, and then we create a for loop, and we take from input some values, and then we have this function in the for loop that it is used for adding the values in the array. Then we can see that there are two ways to put in output our array. The first is that, and then we see how we print the array, and the second one is with a for loop. This argument in the print function means that we don't need to start a new line after each print, so subsequent writing continues on the same line. Then I use this kind of print to create a new line. Now let's talk about the program about matrices. Matrices are different than arrays because they don't have just one line where there are some values, but it is like a grid, so we have to insert the number of rows and the number of columns. Then we have the creation of an array out the for loop. In the for loop we see that we use another array, and there is a for loop in a for loop, and in the second for loop there is the possibility to insert the numbers, first in the A array and then in the M array. So what is gonna happen here? We can see that there is the array M, and then in the for loop we create the A array. In the A array we insert n values, so for example 3 values, 1, 2 and 3, and then we see that there is the command what that means. It means that the values of the arrays A now belong to the M arrays. Then when the for came back, this cycle start another time, and now we create another a array, and then we can insert other three values because the number of column and column and rows is the same, obviously. So if for example we decide to have 3 for 3 grid, now we can set, for example, 4 5 6, then there is this command, we come back at the beginning, and then another time there is the input of other values, 7 8 9. So we want to have as a result this grid. That are the values that we insert during the execution of the program. Now we can run our two programs. So first we see the arrays program, and he said to us to insert the number of elements in the array. We can insert 5. So 1 2 3 4 5. So we see the difference between the two type of output. First has the square brackets and common. Then the second one has not the square brackets and the comma. Now we start the second program. So insert number of rows 3, insert number of columns 3, values of the matrix. So we can insert 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So now we have our matrix, and we see that every 3 numbers the program creates a new line because we have this argument in the print. Before I mentioned the fact that we use arrays and matrices done as list, because we can say that arrays and matrices we can use them in different ways. One kind of way is the list. So to have a list using an array, we have to use the square brackets. So in this case we have this list composed by 5 numbers, and we are gonna to use some functions. The first is the function len that we also saw in string functions. So we know that he will put in output the length of our list, so the number of our values. With list we can also take the max value in the list, the minimum value in the list, and the sum of the values in the list. So I run the program, and I see that the max number is 5, the minimum is 1, and the sum is 15. So now let's see other functions that are reverse and sort. In this case, the function reverse reverse the order of the list, whereas the sort whereas the third order sort the list. So we run the program and we see first there is the reverse. So we notice that it is correct, and then there is the sort, and it is also correct. So now there is another function that is pop, and pop is useful to delete uh, a specific index index value. So if we want, for example, eliminated the last number, it is automatic, and we don't need to insert to specify the index of the value. But if we, for example, want to delete the second position, we have to specify that. Moreover, we can have in output the number that we are going to eliminate it. So we run the program and we see that in the first we eliminated the number 4, so the last index, and there we eliminated the index 2, and we have an output the number 6 that was the number that we eliminated. Now we can talk about tuples and sets. Tuples are similar to lists, but the difference between them is that the first one cannot be modified, so array functions that have to modify the tuple don't exist. That happens because lists are mutable, whereas tuples are immutable. So in tuples we can use as functions, for example, len, sum, min, max, count, index, etc. Then sets, we can say about that they are unordered and also have no duplicates. So when we will stamp a set that we create, we will see that each set value will have random order. Moreover, if there were duplicates in the set, they will be deleted. Some functions that we can use with sets are, for example, add, update, pop, remove, intersection, and difference. So let's do this some example with tuples. So I have my tuple formed by 5 values, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm using some of the functions that I can use for tuples, but just the last we know that is not possible to use because he will modify the tuple. So we are gonna to meet an error. So we see that the length is right, the sum is right, max, minimum, the count of the number 2 is true, and also of the index of the number 3. But when we arrive at the pop function, we see that there is an error, and in fact we see that tuple object has no attribute pop. So we can modify the tuple. Last thing that we have to say about tuples is that whereas the lists use square brackets, the tuples use the parentheses. Now let's talk about sets, and here we have two sets. The first one is formed by the string pink and red, and the second one formed by yellow, blue, and red strings. We have to note that the set has not parentheses or square brackets, but in this case they have curly brackets. So let's to see the functions. The first function is add, and in this case we can see that at my set1 I will add the string purple. Then in the function update I have a different a similar function. I mean that in this case my set1 adding the strings that don't have from my set2, but the double strings, I mean the string that he already have, he doesn't write them. Then there is the pop function, that is a function that allow us to deleted one element from the set, one casual element. Then there is the remove function, that in this case we have to specify the element that we want to delete. Then there is the intersection function that create another set where the elements are formed by the intersection of the strings of my set1 and my set2. And the last one function is difference. This function allows us to know what strings my set1 don't have than my set2. Now run this program, and I will explain every passage to you. So the first one is the function add, and we see that my set1 become pink, red and purple. Before it was pink and red, so he add the string purple. Then we have the update function, and we have this new set formed by 5 string, and we notice that the color red, the string red, is not present 2 times, because we know that set eliminated double strings or double values. Then there is pop, the function pop, that say to us what color it eliminated, and that is in this case blue, and I have the new set formed by 4 strings. Then there is the function remove, that in this case remove the string blue in my set2, and in fact the new set is yellow and red. Then there is the function intersection, and now between my set1 and my set2, and the result is a new set intersection that is formed by yellow and red, because we have purple, yellow, red and pink in the first set, and the second one yellow, red, so the intersection is yellow and red. And then there is the function difference between my set1 and my set2, and the difference here is obviously pink and purple, and now the program created a new set formed by 2 strings, pink and purple. I want to specify that we can convert the tuple in list, and the string in set, for example, or also list in set. So I make an example. In fact, in the first I have a tuple that then I transform in list, and then I can use the function pop that is not possible to use with tuple. Then I have a string the Simpson. Then I transform this string in set, and this set I put this set in output, and I can see that the double string, and the order of the letters is different. So the program works. Another argument for today are dictionaries. A dictionary is a collection which is unordered, changeable, and indexed. In Python, dictionaries are written with curly brackets, and they have case and values. Let's see some examples on the compiler. Now let's see this example. So, first of all, we have the dictionary that is student. Dictionary is composed, how I said, by case and values. In this case, name, surname, school, Pomeridian course are the case, whereas Max, Morgan, Volterra, and Cambridge are the values. Now I'm going to run this program and explain to you every function. So let's see. First of all, I print the dictionary, and I see that every key and its value are put in output. Then there is print student square brackets name. What that mean? It's mean that I want to know the value of the key name. Then I can use this function case to know all the keys of the dictionary, and I can do this also with the values. Then if I want to know how many elements is formed this dictionary, I can use the function len, and if I want to change one value, for example, I can use I can do in this way. Student square brackets name equal Mike. So now the value of name is not Max but Mike. And if I want to update many elements, but I want also to add a new element, I can do in this way. So here I change some elements. For example, name now is Mark, surname is White, and I add a new element, that's a new key, that is telephone number, and is value, the number. And in the output I can see that there are these new elements. So now let's go to see another important argument. Functions is an important argument in the world of programming. In Python, a function is a group of related statements that performs a specific task. Functions help break our program into smaller and modular chunks. As our program grows larger, functions make it more organized and manageable. Furthermore, it avoids repetition and makes the code reusable. How to create a function? There are 4 passages. Use the keyword def to declare the function and follow this up with the function name. Add parameters to the function. They should be within the parentheses of the function, and we have to end our line with a colon. We have to add statements that the functions should execute, and in the end your function with a return statement if the function should output something. Without the return statement, your function will return an object none. So let's start with a easy example. So now we have the def that define a function, and then we have the name of the function, that is in this case greeting, parentheses, where then we can here insert a variable, and then here the command that we want to repeat every time that we want. So then to call the function, we have just to write the name of the function and parentheses. So now we can run the program, and I see that there is in the output hello guys. But why is so useful the function? Because if I want to repeat this passage many times, I can do in this way. I can copy the code of the function, and I have many output. Whereas if I don't have function like this, I have to write this many times. So repeat this passage is not convenient for us. Another easy example is using an argument, in this case x, in the parentheses of the function. So then I said return x multiplied 2. So I called the function 1, and in the argument I insert the number 3, and I load my result in the variable a. Then I print a, so the result is 6, but we can try also with 4, it's 8, and so on. But what happened if I don't insert any number there in this argument? There is an error because we're missing an argument. We can have in our parentheses more of one argument, in this case x and y. Then I want to return x multiplied 2 plus y multiplied 4. So I insert the number 2 and 4 in the argument, and I have 20, and it is correct. Now let's talk about file input and output. That is our last argument. So let's go to the compiler for an example. So in Python, but also in other programming language, we can take by file our input. For example, in this case, in this program, I want to find the double of these numbers that are in input file. It is a text file, and I want to take these numbers from the file, and then I want to find its double. So to read by file, we have to create one variable file1 that is our file that we open, that is input.txt, and the second argument is the action that we are going to do. In this case, R is read. Then we want to load the contents of the file in a variable, in this case called contents. Then we want to split every character, because if we don't use split, 1, 4, 5, 8, 10 are all together, and it's not are not 5 numbers separated. And then I create an array where I want to load these numbers. Then I prepare a for loop, and there I use the append function that it's used to add the numbers, and I use numbers square brackets I, that means that every number is divided from the others. So in this way we can load to the array the 5 numbers. Then I use a print function to print a, and to be sure that I load the numbers. Then I want to write on another file that I called it output.txt, and here the second argument is w that is write. Then I create another for loop, and here I modify the value of the array's number, and I multiply for 2 every number. Then, to be sure that I am doing correct, I use a print function and I print the new array, and then I use file1 dot write that it's used to write on the new file. Then I use also this, that we know that it is used to create a space, a line, to create a new line, and then I close the file. So we can run the program and we can see that the operations are correct, but if we want to see that we load the results correctly, we have to go to output.txt, that is our new file, and we see the correct results. So what we have to learn about file input and output, that we have to open the file, read the contents, then split if there are more elements, and then close the file. And if we want to write, we have to another time open the file and write on it, and then close the file another time. So our series ends here, and thanks to follow this series about Python. Bye guys.